right, so today, just like all projects, let's start a different one. Today, I'm going to build a big coin rack flag to hang on the wall. We're going to go big. We're going to go massive. And we're going to put some work into it. This one, they sell things like this, but this one will be made by me. So the difference is those ones are all over the place. This one will be a masterpiece. So as you can tell, there's no wood, nothing yet. That's my flag. Let's figure it out, shall we? All right, so to make sure my proportions are correct, I have this here thing, which I found these numbers on the internet. So I put them on here. I put this picture that shows what's what, which I also got off the internet. And then I started filling out my own stuff. I've done this before based on a 2.07. So based on 2, that makes, because let's see, that's 0.0769. So based on 2 inches wide, number B, it would be 44 inches. D would be 20, which means that this would be 24 here, which would mean A, it would be 27 inches high. So that would be, you know, boom, up to here by 44 wide. So that'll be a good size flag, I feel. So to make that a thing now, I'm going to use some 2x4s. Well, to use these 2x4s, I want to, they're thinner, they're like 1 3/4. And I have this, which I would like to tongue and groove the wood together. Like I said, this one, I want to make it a masterpiece. I've never done the tongue and groove. I have this router that I've got. I've never used this particular router. So today what we're going to do is try to make that a thing. First things first, I'm going to need to start cutting these to bits. So let's get my table saw out. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is barely cut any off the side, but give me a straight edge. Get rid of this radius part. All right, now that we've got that side done, we're gonna get them to about 2.6 inches. So let's figure out what 2.6 is and set this up. But now that I think about it, I wanna be able to plane the sides as well. So let's give me something to play with. Now that I got my 2x4s here cut, I want to run them through a planer, get those sides planed real good. All right, now these are all just about 2.6, nice and even. Relatively straight too. Each time I flipped them and changed their orientation to each other and everything, it leveled them out just a little bit more. I gotta do the next part, which is gonna be cut them down the middle. And then plane their thicknesses. 1.5. So what would that be? 0.7 we'll say, because that thing's going to be at least so thick. Alright, now you can see, obviously I'm not perfect. They're not completely even all the way. So that's the next thing. Now I'm going to plane the thickness until I reach the perfect minimum thickness. right, now we've got our wood. It's all the same. And it's straight and smaller and smooth edges. We're on to something. It already looks like a flag, doesn't it? All right, now that I have these, I need to do the tongue groove. Well, this is not cool. Well, since this router's garbage, I'm waiting for my wife to pick me up another. I'm probably not going to get very far at all with this, which makes me very mad. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so if I can make this so it fits around this to set my depth, then I can run it from behind it. All right, so let's imagine that was there. Ah, jeez, I'm gonna break this bit. So that looks like that'll be thick enough. So really, if I can just make some extensions for this and drill and screw it on, that'll be all it needs. So boom, that's perfect. Centered nicely so that way they'll recenter it and keep it straight. Whereas before this was too narrow, it would hit this, so all I did was give it more room. And a little bit of a longer guide edge. So when you're starting your corners, you can start your corners. All right, so while we're waiting on this router, let's do the next thing. So this should only be a part of it, right? And the reason I'm doing it like that, the different colors, or the different with the tongue groove, is because they're gonna be different colors. This is all gonna be the same. So I didn't have any boards that size. So I have weird random cutoff ones, probably like that wide. Should give me enough to plane glue together. So let's do that. That's not even 14 yet. Dang. Let's try and put all the bad ends by each other. So I got the better face down. I got the better ends down on this, or I got the better ends on this end. Now, as you can see, there's kind of another problem. They gotta kind of fit together, don't they? So this one is pretty universal. Let's flip it around. So at least he kind of matches that one. Oh yeah, that'll make it a bit easier, huh? make sure we have those all seated up to the table. Now, while this glue dries, hopefully, and this becomes a nice board, again, hopefully, I need to make some shelves. So each one, I figure I'll put one on the top of each red one. So I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll need 3 that are 44 long and 3 that are 24 long. Reason I'll do that way the coins can be against the white back, and the red, it'll be kind of at the top of the shelf so it doesn't make the stripes look funny. If it's at the bottom, then it would kind of overhang the color below it. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to pass them through the planer, square them up, clean them up. Amazing how straight they are after a few passes. Look at, you don't do this to straighten them up, but it levels them off enough and you move them around, and they seem to do that, don't they? Much better. Now, it needs a spot for a little coin to rest. Now let's pull the blade up. Now let's figure out this groove. All right, so I want it to kick to the side, obviously. Just a little bit though. Let's not go too crazy with it, because this isn't very thick. Now let's pick a depth. Let's go with that. And now let's pick how far from the edge. Let's go with, we want enough room to kick back. So let's go right there. That's not wide enough for a coin. We'll need it to be a little wider. So let's unlock this. Let's move it over and let's do it again. Now let's use a little screwdriver just to make sure any of those little spots are gone. All right, so now let's start cutting stuff to size. This one might be best. I could get 4 short guys out of it. Each one of these I could get 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. Let's hope these are 44 long. If these are 44 long, I think we're gonna have just enough. I might have mathed good. Oh yes, I think I did math good. How in the heck did I do that? I never do that. I didn't even pay much attention. All right, and there's 7 24s. All right, so we've got our new router here, and I got it set up. with the new part I made to hopefully prevent things from going south again. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Alright, so let's get it started off the part. All right, now I have to line this up to do the opposite. So if it's gonna be here, that's the one. Let's pick the ones that will be red. So they're gonna be every other, starting with the top. And I'm gonna use the redder ones for my red as well. Red. So these are whites, or these are reds. These are whites. And a white, and a red, and a white. So I got 3 reds, 3 whites. That side does not look too bad. We're gonna do round 2 of glue here tonight, so get it ready. Alright, other thing I want to get drying today, I want to glue some of these U's, if not all of them, onto these. So they go on the top edge. So if this is the bottom, let's see, and that slat needs to be angled back towards the part. So fat side in. Alright, so my glue dried overnight. Now I got a bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna dry fit everything, see what final trims and stuff I need to make, and then move on. But even without that, you can see it's gonna be too tall and too wide, which is okay, because each stripe, you know, while I made them the same, and I made them off of measurements, my measurements were a little off by hand. So, not a big deal. Okay, so first order of business is gonna be squaring this side up to the bottom. So I flipped it over. This is the side that'll see the stripes. That way I can get that square. Alright, now I need to do my tongue and groove, and then I can do my final trim. Oh, a little more. Perfect. So now we're just gonna hit it up with some sandpaper. Now the last thing I want to do today is burn all of these. Alright, so today, as you can see, I got this quite a bit further. I didn't tape me doing all the dyeing and gluing. What I did is I just mixed up some dye. It was rather simple, so I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time with that. But I just used this Kita dye. I used red, mixed it with water and some alcohol, just a decent amount. The alcohol just to help so it dries up quickly and doesn't absorb as much water into the wood. And then rubbed it out on here. Same thing then with the blue, although I did make a star mask. I had a sign shop cut out some Gerber mask stuff and stuck the stars on here, and then wiped the blue dye over it, and then I could peel the stars later. So that's what we're left with. And then I just put glue in the beads and stuck the parts together and clamped them. Now you can tell there is some warp to it, and that's because of the wood was warped. I did glue it straight. I had it clamped when it was glued, but the other thing I'm gonna do now should fix that for the most part. So now I'm going to make the way to hang it and a little frame for the back. So to do that, I want to come in a little bit from the edge because I don't want it to be like too visible. So we'll go like a couple inches from the top, a couple inches from the bottom. We're at 25. So let's take 2 off the top, 2 off the bottom. Let's go with the 21. All right, so now the idea behind the French cleat is that one is angled this way and you have another one that's angled that way. You screw the one that's angled up to the wall, and then this one can nest into it. So we're gonna cut an angle on this. So let's go with a 30-degree angle. Just because, really. You would screw to the wall like that. Oops. Sorry. All right, now this part you would screw to the wall like that. See the bevel up. This part gets glued, this face to my part. So that way I screw this up to the wall nice and perfectly level, and then I can just hang my part and it's solid mount. Oh, jeez. I stood it upright and I brushed polyurethane into these grooves so that way I could get in there and it could soak in and I could put a healthy amount. And now I'm going to put it over the whole thing. It's actually filling others as well as it's soaking in, and it will soak in a lot. All right, so here we go. It's all done. You can see we got a nice gloss going on here. That's cool. And that's all I did. Maybe another video I'll focus on putting some stuff on it. But I did 2 heavy coats, and then I sanded it, and then I did 1 more heavy coat, sanded it, followed by 1 last heavy coat. So looks pretty good. Let's see how it looks in the sun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see, do we have any? Not really. Let's see. Look at that. Looks good. Yes. All right, well, that concludes this build. It's ready to hang on a wall. See you next time. Buff it up, buff, buff it up, buff, 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 buff it buff, 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 buff it buff, 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 buff it buff, 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 buff.